It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of freedomin5minutes.com and prosulum.com, prosulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this: done is always better than perfect. That and more coming up. Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're out again with the Lunameister, hanging, chilling like villains. And today is a good day. Yet again, another good day. Who would imagine? Another good day in Central California. Running around, walking around on the acreage. We have snakes now. Snakes are starting to show back up. Rattlesnakes, the good kind of snakes. All of those buggers are starting to show up again. So, yay. That's why we got some cats. Got more cats. Want more cats. Give me as many cats as possible. Keep them snakes away. Want them gone. So a couple of things have been happening. I've been lately doing a lot of LinkedIn marketing. And just I've just been using it a lot more. I've been scheduling posts. I've been really trying to build my presence on LinkedIn, doing everything from automation to different types of automation, different types of scheduling, different types of things like that, all the way to reaching out to people, connecting, endorsing, all this other stuff. And a lot of it is automated, as usual, per normal Freedom in 5 Minutes prosulum fashion. Everything has a system. Everything's automated, right? And so one of the cool things about that is really just seeing that the more consistent you are, the more that you just put stuff out there, the more things happen. And this is something that a lot of people have had trouble in the past. So anyway, let me get to the story. I'm going to get to the story. I'm not going to just start lecturing. All right. There was a couple of different things. One, I got this content scheduling calendar. I forgot who the name was, where I got it. What was it called? It was called Onboard Social Media or Onboard Social or something like that. I bet you if you were to Google that, you'd be able to find it. But Onboard Social is a cool little calendar that I got for $27. I found it off of an Instagram ad. And normally I don't get stuff like that. I'm not a big social media type guy. All of my social media stuff in the past that has worked has been through one-on-one connections where I knew somebody was going to be somewhere. I reach out to them on social media, go talk to them, meet them, and then now I can talk to them on social media from then on, right? Well, so I got this calendar, and it's pretty cool for basically the next 3 years. It gives you an idea of what to write and what to talk about during that day. And then I scatter in a couple of things. So what I do with social media is the first thing I do, so I use Hootsuite. Hootsuite is the major tool that I use just because I like that they have auto scheduling. Auto scheduling, because you have Buffer that you can select what times you want things to schedule. They have a whole bunch of different. So Buffer is a different app, I should say. You have Buffer, which is a different app. You have a whole bunch of different other apps that allow you to create a schedule. I don't want to create no schedule, baby. I just want to I just want to press the button, let it schedule whatever for me, and let me move on my way. That's what I want. I don't want any other funny business, okay? Just let me press the button. You figure out what the best time is, and let's go. So I get so I have Hootsuite. I got that calendar. The cool thing about that calendar too is that it follows a system. It's called ACES that she created. So ACES, so ACES. It's an acronym. It stands for authority. So you have an authority post. The C is connection post, something that connects people to you. An engagement post where you engage somebody else and you tag somebody else. And then a sizzle post. The sizzle post, I believe, only comes after doing the first 3 a couple of times. So I want to say it's like every 6 of the A, C, and E's. You then get the S, which is sizzle, which is talking about your sales, like different types of sales things, like, discovery calls or getting somebody to come and opt in for your email or a sale that you have, things like that. And so that comes only every once in a while. Okay. So the next thing the cool thing about that is that it really gives a really cool and systematic approach to at least having the idea of what I want this day to be around. And so on top of that, I'll have different posts from Mashable. I'll have different articles. I'll post different things from all of these different content sites. The Signal versus Noise blog, all these different places that I find very interesting posts from. I'll put that out there. I'll also do different quotes from people, but then I'll also do my own quotes. I'll do my own quotes, which are things like, one of the last things that I did was, if you think you're the only one that can do something, you're wrong. It's something in your business, you're wrong. And I believe that. I believe that I am not the only one that can even do these podcasts, that I can actually outsource these podcasts. And guess what? I have in the past with the Online Empire Academy. I outsourced my entire podcast to a wonderful guy named Josh Woodward, and he did a really fabulous job. Okay. So, the entire podcast, and I'm not joking, the entire, from everything from interviews to the podcast itself, to the podcast processing, everything. Okay. So all of that can definitely be outsourced to somebody else. So all that being said, one of the things that pushes when you have a system and you're going to do it consistently, the thing that what pushed me was to start putting a whole bunch of content out there, my own content, other people's content. And I actually had somebody who asked me, "Hey, do you actually have a training course on the stuff that you're talking about?" And so I wrote back and I said, "Well, we usually get people hooked up with VSAs, but I do have a training course." And I gave him a link to the training course, and he started taking the training course. And this is somebody who, he actually works for someone that's very, very popular, very, very well known. And super nice guy, and it was awesome. And so he he actually started taking the course, and then he messaged me back on LinkedIn. This is all just out of the blue, just all from doing the content and stuff, and doing the different types of automation and endorsing and reaching out to people and stuff. He emails me back, so he messages me back on LinkedIn and says, "Hey, your ClickFunnels affiliate badge is on by default." So what ClickFunnels does is, even though you've paid for ClickFunnels, they will put a little badge that pops up if you by default that says, "Hey, this was made by ClickFunnels." And the good thing is that it gives you, and it's like your little affiliate badge, so they'll give you credit if someone buys. And I actually had someone purchase ClickFunnels, and I get monthly revenue from that little badge. And, but I actually did not realize that badge was showing up on all of my course pages. And because it just by default, you just don't think about it. You don't think of turning that thing off. You think of usually a software will be the opposite. It will be default off, and you have to choose to have this affiliate, the affiliate badge on. But in this particular circumstance, it was default off. Okay. And so I didn't think about it. I didn't even realize that it was on until he had messaged me. And the thing is that this training course has been up for months, and several people have gone through it. And so he was just saying, it could be a little bit distracting and so on and so forth. And he's totally right. And so when I put I had to go through 5-6 different pages and turn the whole thing off. And then I went through all my opt-ins that I had created, and they had the affiliate badge on. And so I turned all those off because because it was the pain in the, obviously I don't want that showing up, but it was a pain in the butt getting all that stuff done. But that's not the point. Okay. That's not the point. The point of this is that they were up. The pages were up. People were going through the course. Did he say, hey, the affiliate badge is on. I'm not going to go through this course because of that. I'm not going to listen to a word you say. You are dumb. You're a big dum-dum. You had the affiliate badge thing up, and you obviously are not perfect. So I'm not going to listen to you. Of course not. No, he basically was being super helpful and helped me to help. And he just basically was like, hey, you have this on, you might want to turn this off because it can be a little distracting. And he just kept going on with the training course. That is awesome. But there are a lot of people, including myself at some point in time, that would have been like, well, you should have checked that out in the first place. Oh, you should never put anything out unless it's absolutely perfect. Have five quality control checks. Have 17 people look at the thing before it goes out. But here's the thing. Whether it was perfect or not, the person's still listening to my training course and still liking it. So I learned this from a mentor of mine named Jermaine Griggs, which I've mentioned several times in the podcast. He learned it from, I believe, his grandma, but done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. 90% of the time when you complete something, it's going to be fine. And if it's not, just as in this example, what happened? Nothing, right? Nothing at all. There is nothing that came from this other than me thanking him and us continuing to connect even more. Right? And I'll give you one other example. This is an example from a client. So I always tell clients who have our virtual systems architects that when you're doing these videos, if something is going to be pretty important, like it's going to go out to somebody, and you want to make it to where it is going to be perfect most of the time, if not all of the time. Because you're doing videos, and your videos are the ones that are, you're getting everything documented based off of those videos. At the end of the video, you spent 5 minutes creating that video. Just at the end of the video, just say, hey, here's the quality control check for this task that you're doing. Every time you're done with this task, I want you to check these 3 things or check these 5 things. I want you to check here, here, and here and make sure that everything's correct. And so I had this client who rather than doing a video and creating a process, he sent an email to his virtual systems architect, to his VSA, $9.50 per hour, at least as of recording this. Oh, and they'll automate and systemize everything in your business for you. So he goes and sends this email that kind of outlines what needs to be done for this particular task. Well, because there was no quality control check, and because it wasn't as clear as it could be, because email is like one of the least clear ways of creating a process or a task, because it was not as clear as it could be, the VSA ended up messing up. And it was essentially a thank you to donors for this nonprofit. So pretty major companies who donated to the nonprofit, the event that they were having. And the email that went out, there were these merge fields where it said, parentheses, your company, and first name and so on. So she did the first name, she did all of it, but she accidentally forgot your company, the merge field for your company, right? So she accidentally forgot that merge field. And so the email went out and said, hey, Tim or whomever it was, hey, Tim, thank you so much for supporting this nonprofit event, blah, 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 blah. We couldn't have done it without you. Without you and the support of parentheses, your company, close parentheses. It was an obvious, and it was in red, so it was an obvious like merge field like thing. Actually, I don't think it was in red. I think the feedback back was in red from the person. But so the guy writes back and says, so the client writes back to the VSA and copies me, and copies the account manager and says, hey, how can I be more, how could I communicate more clearly what needs to be done here? Good job, my love.
I fed the cats. What else do you need?
Oh, nice. I think, sorry, it's chore time. I think just feeding Luna, that should be it. I'll handle the chickens.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, he said, how can I be more clear? But when he forwarded the email response from his donor, when his donor said, because it also requested something from the donor, hey, could you do blah, blah, blah. The donor just simply said, hey, so-and-so, yes, when would you like, when would you need this by? That's it. The thing wasn't perfect, right? Wasn't perfect. Had a merge field thing and still got the job done. The person just like, okay, yeah, no problem. When do you need this by? Almost as if they didn't even notice it, right? And that's the thing is, things don't go perfect. Would it have been better had it been totally perfect? Yeah, of course. But a lot of the times when we do stuff, the job still gets done, right? Everything still gets done. And I'm not saying not to try and be accurate and perfect or anything like that. But a lot of the times we get paralysis by analysis, right? And we don't want to not do something simply because we have 15 people checking it before it goes out. So by the time it does go out, it's not even valuable anymore. It's not even relevant anymore. And so the more that we are able to take that analysis by paralysis, the paralysis by analysis away, we can get more content out there, more things out there, connect more, reach out to more people. We can do it faster. We can do it better, and actually learn what works and what doesn't, rather than just sit there and wonder and hope and be scared and have fear. So, done is better than perfect. Always. Done is always better than perfect. All right, this is Dean Soto. Freedom in 5 minutes. freedomin5minutes.com. And I will see you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.